Then you get Pretty Boy Josh here. I call him Pretty Boy Josh. I initially called him Pretty Boy Josh because I didn't want to look up his last name. And it kind of stuck, so now I always call him Pretty Boy Josh. He's a good looking guy. Anyways, the we talked a little bit about character development for some of the other people. I guess we should bring him up as well. Um, I actually like Pretty Boy Josh. I think he comes up across fairly fake, fairly often. It's his job, right? I mean, he's not there to be candid with you. Um, he's got the kind of fake announcer's voice, but I mean, it's what you need, right? The thing I like about him is once in a while you can tell that he is just disgusted by the press, and you can see it. You can hear it in his tone of voice, the way he reacts. Like he can't grapple with the angles that the media wants to push a lot of the time. One of the best examples I saw of this. This is not far back in chronological time from the date of the video, but it was quite some time ago that I watched it, right? Because it's been a while since I caught back up to this. One of the things I watched, I guess it would have been sometime in the summer of 2014, I think. It was about the immigration issue, and the angles that they were pushing were just so heartless. The media, the way the media was throwing things down, right? Essentially accusing, Obama of having no immigration policy. Letting the media sounds like Donald Trump half the time, right? And it's true. Like we're talking credentialed press club journalists. You let them loose on immigration, and they sound like Donald Trump. And I mean, they might be a little less gauche about it, but basically, like what Donald Trump is saying about immigration is exactly what the mainstream media has been saying forever, right? There's really no daylight there. That's why he's saying what he's saying is because it's a successful media story, right? And people flip out and everything. But I mean, like, have you watched media coverage on this issue? I mean, I get it. I get most of my information on immigration from sources that are much left. Like my number one news source for immigration news is Democracy Now, and they don't pull punches. Okay, they're brutally honest. Okay, you really want to know what's going on? Watch them. They'll tell you, and you will flip out. Right. And then when you listen to what they're saying, and then you listen to what the press corps here is saying, essentially claim like the way they put it, they make Obama sound like he's the most liberal immigration policy president ever. When in fact the reality is that he's deported more people than anybody. He's been the harshest, most conservative president ever on immigration policy. That's a fact. You can look that up. ICE has become a quasi-fascist organization. They round people up. They break down doors. People disappear overnight. There are people getting disappointed. There are people getting deported that were born in the United States because they happen to have the wrong name. It's become a serious human rights issue. They've got detention camps that are essentially concentration camps sitting on the border. People can't get legal access. It's a catastrophe. And if you listen to the press, all the press wants to push is this idea that the border security is not strong enough, right? And I've seen Pretty Boy Josh here react. Like, Pretty Boy Josh knows what's going on, right? He knows he has to present the issue in a certain way for the media and everything else, right? And for the administration too, right? The administration doesn't want to be. I mean, they have to fight the media narrative, but at the same time, they don't want to be seen as being too um, liberal either, right? So it's kind of going both ways, right? It's a hard job, right? Being a PR person for the Democrats over the last 8 years would have to be really hard because the press wants to call you the caucus when you're governing like Bush. It's absurd, right? But just the indignation that you hear come out of him from time to time, he can't believe what he's hearing sometimes, right? And it's more than just a part of his job. You can tell that it's affecting him personally, right? Which suggests to me that this guy's got maybe a bit of a heart, and that's nice to see in an elected official, right? Um, you see these people show up and they stand behind a podium and they sound like robots. They sound like heartless monsters over and over and over again. To see somebody that can react a little bit more on a human level, with that level of indignation, and that "Oh my God, I can't believe you just said that," kind of tone of voice is very refreshing. Um, I haven't read the article, but I'm sure somebody out there has called him unprofessional for it. But nonetheless, I find it very refreshing to watch. I find that his arguments are often he often draws attention to the wrong things. I think, from my perspective, right? But again, I'm a Canadian. I often don't. I'm going to step back from this. I'm going to wait until an example comes up, right? It's just what I'm remembering kind of more on an abstract sense. It's like if you want to win the argument, you wouldn't say this, right? Um, but I can't remember the details. I think one of the things had to do with the fiscal cliff and just the way that he's presenting it. Is like, okay, you're obviously not trying to win this argument, or you think that this is a winning argument, but it's not, obviously, right? A lot of the same things I've been saying about Clinton, right? And um, maybe I'm getting fooled, right? But it seems more honest coming from this guy than coming from a lot of the other officials that you hear it from, right? But yeah, it's the he's really the only spokesperson that I've ever seen that appears to be cognizant of just how evil the press is. Okay, the press, it's not like they're incompetent and they don't know what they're doing a lot of the time, sure, but there's a streak of the press that is evil in the way that they push stories, um, in the way that they're disinterested in facts, in the narratives that they want to uphold. Um, it's like whether this is true or not, and whether it's responsible or not, it's like, why would you want this to be a narrative, right? And like I say, he's really the only person I've ever seen in an official capacity that has demonstrated that just um, revulsion at the press. He seems to understand that they are, he understands what they are, and that's rare from what I've seen. Anyways, I'm gonna finish my sandwich here.